Hi everyone. Here's an example of the tutorial 6 HTML exercise where things that were learned earlier were included and an image was also included. So this student went above and beyond, which will be very helpful when it comes time to doing the project. As you can see, this student also created multiple files, so they've got a lot of experience in. Here's another example, and I want to point out how easy it is to read when there's a lot of contrast between text and background like we have here. Now when we come down to the next black bar, this may not be as easy for some people to read. So a font that does not have serifs, which are the little lines at the bottom of the P, for instance, or the thick and thin, or if this was bold, it would be simple to do. We have a link. Now, some people are colorblind and would have trouble with the red, but since the text is there, the color is not significant for learning, but it may be very gray. So it could be that the text itself and a person who is colorblind, it would be black on gray and it may be hard to read. So something to think about when you're creating your files. And then here we have some headings and something new. So this is wonderful. This student went above and beyond and again is learning things that will be very helpful, I'm assuming, when it comes time for creating the project. Here's an example of incorporating the various activities that you learned about on one file, and that's perfectly acceptable. Now this background is not a problem for me. I'm not colorblind, but if I was, this could look very gray and just bland out the lettering so you couldn't see it. So we need to have a good contrast and try to avoid using red because there are people who will see color as shades of gray, and when it is the entire background, it can be a problem. Also, consider using a sans serif font, and it'll be thicker and easier for people to read. In this example, there's more contrast between the background and the text, and there's no red, so it's easier for most people to read. When we get to color blindness, that'll become, we'll learn more about that then. So this one is good for all viewers, in my view. For viewers who are low vision or have trouble with shades of gray, this is perfect. I like color, but we need to keep in mind who's going to be looking at our websites, and 12% of the population has disabilities, and a portion of that is visual. So we need to keep this in mind, and this is a good example of what would work. In this example, there's a lot of text used for the link, and that's wonderful. That helps a lot of people.